Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we are back with another brand new Mattel Jurassic World Chaos Theory release as we begin checking out the newest wave of Danger Packs. This is the Lophostropheus, and that is very, very cool because it's the very first Lophostropheus I've ever had the pleasure of adding to my collection. Something Mattel takes the claim for with many different species because they often give us some really cool species, some very obscure ones, and that's exactly what we've got going on with this figure. You can see it looks pretty nice though. And then of course we've got the standard packaging, and on the back of the packaging you can see the other figures that are in this wave. Randomly they've brought back this Dimetrodon, which is like the strangest choice. I don't know why, but it is back, unfortunately. I don't think it's any different from the older version, though. I'll have to check it out when I actually get that one and see it in person. But very nice looking packaging as per usual, so let's pop this out and check it out. So here is our Lophostropheus, looking really quite cool. Definitely nice out of the packaging, and overall looks to be another excellent sculpt from Mattel. Decent paint apps, nothing overly impressive, but nice enough. So let's go ahead, jump to a closer look, and we'll check it out from there. So starting up here at the head sculpt of our Lophostropheus, you can see it looks pretty nice overall. There's some decent looking scale detail again in the face. You can see the nostrils sculpted out. We've got a brown coloration for the primary body color. You can see a darker green there that kind of runs along the top of the head, basically running down into the eye socket along the palate and everything, striping down. And then you've got a very cool looking crest up here, one individual crest running along the center of the head, which also features some nice looking fine detail, nice texturing, as well as a light tone here for the lower jaw, kind of like an off-white. It all looks really quite nice. We of course have an articulated jaw, which apparently is incredibly stiff. Wow, there we go, we got it open. That one was really stuck. Probably should have warmed it up or something with like some hot water, but oh well, we got it open at least. But you can see the teeth actually look pretty good. I feel like they have a little bit of a sharper look than we usually see for the Danger Packs and stuff like that. They're also painted with a light yellowish tone. They don't look too bad as far as the paintwork, maybe slightly sloppy in a few areas, like right there you can see a little bit of sloppiness, but for the most part I think it looks okay. The inside of the mouth does have a pinkish tone for the tongue and the skin stretching there. No coloration outside of the brown for the upper side of the inside of the mouth though, but you can see actually there's a little bit of extra sloppy paint in there as well, so this one overall is a little sloppy. Another figure that maybe I'll replace if I find another one in store, and then maybe repaint this one. But you can see there's a nice satin shine in there. Again, the tongue is nicely textured if it would focus on it. There you go, you can see the texturing of the tongue. You can also see that light tone kind of runs along the side of the tongue, which is not common for Mattel, so that's pretty interesting. And wow, is that jaw ever stiff. I don't know what's going on with that. There we go, we got it closed, but that was definitely a task to get it there. But as you move back along the course of the neck, you can see some very cool, very reptilian, almost like lizard-like skin texture, some scale detail there as we move along. Something Mattel does quite often that I'm always a big fan of because I feel like it just looks incredibly vibrant every single time. There's also some skin wrinkles and folds as you move down, and you can see some osteoderms right there leading down along the back of the neck. As you move down into the underside of the neck and throat, you can see that light tone continues to follow along the underside. Some nice skin wrinkles and stuff right there, kind of stripes up and the brown stripes down, basically battling back and forth. You do have neck articulation as you move down. You can move it up and then down. Not a whole lot of articulation in that area. You can see that's basically about it. You don't have a whole lot of mobility there, sadly. But as you move down into the body, you can continue to see again that same style of skin texture and scale detail, that very reptilian type skin texture. Moving down, you've got a little bit of a cluster of those scales right there at the top of the arm before you lead down, and the skin texture kind of switches it up a bit. You've got the elbow sculpted out, some muscle definition in that area as well, and as you lead down, you can see the fingers look pretty good. You've got some scoots moving down the fingers, and the nails are also sculpted quite nicely, but they are unpainted. We do have articulation in the arms, forward and back, as per usual. Basically, you can swivel it all the way around if you would like. As you move back into the stomach, you can make out the rib cage, as well as more of that skin texture, and again that light tone following along the underside, kind of striping up again into the upper brown area of the dinosaur. You can see the skin texture again looks decent down here. As you move back though, you can see that light tone disappears as you lead into like the groin area. Leading up here along the back of the dinosaur, you can actually see there are like some small ridges following along the back of our Lophostropheus as well. It kind of looks like yes, definitely, we've got like an injury right here as well, some sort of a scar that this dinosaur had sustained at some point, some injury it had sustained, something that Mattel has really been doing on these new Chaos Theory figures, which I think is really cool. But as you move down, you've got some very large scales as well as some much finer scales moving down. You've got more nice muscle definition. We can see the knee right there. Actually looks like we've got a few more injuries right there, some slash marks across that area, and actually moving back up into the stomach, there were more up here. I didn't even notice that. But as you move down, you can see the calf muscle. We've also got a nicely sculpted out foot, the scoots moving down the toes, and the nails again sculpted nicely, no paintwork, kind of a gloss coat for them though, and there are dew claws, which the dew claws actually have a really nice gloss coat to that area. And of course you can still move the legs forward and back, even though they're a little stiff right now as well. They don't come out away from the body. They usually don't for these type figures. And then as you move out into the tail, at this point we have no other coloration to the rest of the dinosaur leading out. You can see a nice little curve to the tail though. A few more ridges moving along the back of the tail following the course of the spinal column, and then a little bit of a different style to the skin texture of the underside of the tail. And of course the tail does articulate, but it's basically just a swivel. That's really all you have going on there. And then once you turn the figure around, you're really going to see pretty much the same thing on this side. You can see the eyes painted with a red, and we do have a black pupil for it, which is nice. And then as you continue to move down through the course of the figure, it pretty much looks the same on both sides except for the positioning of the legs. Of course, this leg is trailing more so than the opposing leg leading. The arm might be slightly more held into the body, but it's really not much of a difference at all. But again, it looks very cool from both sides. We do also have actually the Jurassic Facts app code. If you'd like to add that one to your collection, there you go. But overall, it's definitely a fun figure. Not the flashiest from Mattel, but a super cool species choice. As far as a size goes, for a length from the snout to the tail, about 7 3/4 inches, or a little bit over 19.5 centimeters, closing in on 20 centimeters, but not quite there. And in the position the head is currently in, about 3 inches, or just shy of 8 centimeters. But of course, you could position it up a little taller or lower if you would like. But for size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Lophostropheus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect A human being next to our Mattel Danger Pack Lophostropheus, and you can see it's pretty much the size range you would expect. No real differences here between this and the usual Danger Pack type dinosaurs. And then for one more comparison, just to kind of iron that out for you guys, there is a Mattel Velociraptor and Dilophosaurus, which you can see yet again the exact same type of size range you would expect for a Danger Pack. This figure really doesn't stray at all from your standard Danger Pack size. So this brand new Mattel Jurassic World Chaos Theory Danger Pack Lophostropheus is definitely a really cool figure. Again, I think I would have preferred maybe a flashier color scheme for it, but at the same time it's nice and natural. It doesn't have to always be flashy or crazy memorable. What they've come up with for the figure looks natural overall. It's just not anything that's super memorable. It's not that type of color scheme that you're going to look at it and be like, wow, I want that based on the colors alone. But species-wise, it is an awesome figure because, again, it's the first Lophostropheus that I have. It's the first Lophostropheus I've ever even seen. So straight away, it's insanely cool that Mattel continues to give us such obscure species, and I'm sure they're going to continue to do that moving into the future. On top of that, it is very nicely sculpted. Again, you've got all kinds of basically standard Mattel detail throughout. Pretty much what we're used to when it comes to Mattel nowadays is extremely highly detailed sculpts, very nice, very reptilian scale detail on this as well, with the occasional osteoderms and everything. You've also got some decent articulation throughout. Again, you do have 7 points of articulation, but unfortunately, the jaw is incredibly stiff. The mobility in the neck is a good bit limited, and not much going on when it comes to the tail, but you usually don't really have that when it comes to this size range. But overall, again, it is a pretty cool figure, a very nice species choice, and definitely a nice addition to any Mattel Jurassic World collection. So if you are interested, head to your local Walmart, because that is exactly where they are beginning to show up right now, and grab yours there, of course, once they arrive, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.